Okay, we got two parts to this video. We have
What?
no 62 million men didn't attend the rape academy, and then part two, not believing 62 million men want to.
So is this the old white guy? Is he? I think I've seen him before.
This one?
Yeah, I think I've seen him before. Is he okay?
I don't know what. We'll get to
I
that in a second.
I say I think I've seen him before. I think he seems fine.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
I
Part
want,
one.
no, I need more men. I need any man to speak about this because 99.9% of the videos and posts I've seen about this topic are coming from women. Men will be so quick to be defensive. They'll be so quick to say, well, not all men are like that. And then crickets. Where are you guys? 62 million of your population visited that website in February alone. Instead of us having to come on
What
here and be
website?
like, this is disgusting,
Motherless.
you guys should be talking to your bros. You should be
Motherless?
talking to your fathers,
It was
your
something like that. It was
grandfathers,
motherless or
your
something. I can't
uncles,
remember exactly.
any other man in
Wanna
your
give some
life
context
that
on
has
what that site
access to
was?
the internet. You
We'll get
need
it
to
here
be
in a
talking
second.
to them about this. See if they've heard about this. Ask them if they visited that website. Ask what they
My
think
favorite
about
black
this.
guy will
And
give
if you
us
don't want
the
to,
context
if you're
in a
too
second.
afraid to, you don't want to cause drama,
Enjoy the
then you
soothing
are part of the
ASMR
problem.
sounds of me
You are
cleaning up my
signaling
cat's
to
litter
everyone
box.
that you are okay with being friends with people who fantasize about. But then you want to act offended when we women say that we don't trust y'all
Solely
and we
phase
don't know
and
who to
Leon's
trust
face.
because it just seems like almost every single
Shirts are
man
ruinous
is
'cause of all
like
the
this.
ammonia.
Well, not all men, not all men. Then where are you? Where's your voice?
Oh, it's hurting my
Speak
eyes
up,
too. Shit.
because this should be embarrassing to you. This should be really
What was? But 65 million men visit a porn website? That's embarrassing.
embarrassing
Did
to
I show you that?
You should
Did I show you that one
scream.
piece where like Riley Reid and Lana Rhoades wanted all of their pornography deleted off the internet?
Yeah, I'm like, nope, that's not how it works. Sorry.
Hey, that's not how the internet works. I literally just copied the definition of the Streisand effect and posted it.
Yeah, that's not how the internet works.
And for
Sorry.
Lana Rhoades, I just had one thing to say about it. She doesn't want her son to find videos of her on the internet. And the only response I have to that is, well, how the fuck else is your son gonna guess who his daddy is?
God damn.
Me at how disgusting this is.
Proud of
but
that
you're
one.
not. And we live in a backwards world where men don't want to listen to women. Women can make 100 videos about this and they will not care. But if a
We
man
live in a backwards world where men don't want to listen to women. Now, it depends on the
We
woman.
all
Don't
live
get me wrong.
in a backwards world, backwards.
No, don't get me wrong. I
I
mean,
want,
no listen to
I
women.
want to
but,
be the one who conquers them all. Ooh.
let's keep going.
man makes a video about this, calling this
We all
out,
live
they
in a
will
feminist
care.
world.
Where are you guys?
Feminist.
I want, however long
Okay.
this is going to
But back to my favorite black man. We'll get the context now.
be a lesson for everybody, that when you want to give out information, it's important to make sure that everything you say or put out is accurate, because when you are
I don't like
And
that
if it's
last
not,
guy.
And if it's not, then you have to say, this is just what I've been told.
Well, this
This
is
is
my
just.
opinion.
But the thing the other guy did was not opinion. It was not fact, but he stated it as fact. Oh god, it's ammonia. Oh Christ.
aren't accurate and you blow something out of proportion or you sensationalize it to a high degree, the sensationalism will somehow matter more to a lot of people than the actual subject matter, than the actual conversation. Because there will be people who will and you, and well, actually, and when you think about it, to death because somebody blew something out of proportion. For example, when I tell you
Pragmata.
that 62
Yeah.
million men, or over
Other
62
example.
million men, attended in February an online academy, you might be a little bit
That's not the context, though. 65 million men attend an online rape academy. It wasn't a rape academy. It was a porn site.
disturbed, much like I was, because when
Huh.
you sit there and
So the
tell
men
me
weren't in the wrong?
that 62 million men participated in learning how to commit a crime, I'm gonna be a little bit concerned. However, it's important to note that if you go to the article and you actually stomach what the article has in it, which is an introduction to how they want to format, how they want to talk about it, it's not 62 million men.
More than 1,000.
It's just nearly a
Anyway,
thousand
that
users
last guy was talking about Pragmata and has how he's buh. So that last guy who was talking about Pragmata and how he's a massive loser who lives in a camper. Anyway, I'm gonna go outside my camper and go get a drink.
Oh, okay.
Back it up.
That server discussing depraved ass shit. And I'm gonna be honest with you.
Can I say, yeah, the context is there was more like 1,000 people doing this depraved ass shit, and 62 million people just visited the website. You know, they didn't give the full context. They just want to make it seem worse than it is. This is why context is important. You know.
On Christmas,
62 million men would be crazy. 50 million men would be crazy.
Any million men would be crazy.
1 million men would be crazy. 100,000 men would be crazy. 50,000 would be crazy. 1,000 is crazy. 1 man would be crazy. Any number of people in an online server trying to learn how to commit acts against women is crazy.
Very crazy.
Skewed angle.
The black guy staring. You come back to your trailer and the black guy staring at you. I know how that feels. Anywhom, yeah, we are back. Sorry, it took him a second.
Yeah, I hate it when that happens.
Okay, I'm walking to your place and there's a black guy staring at you.
Stop.
There we go. We're back now. Cool.
But the reason it's been blown out of proportion is primarily due to a tweet telling everybody that it was 62 million men exactly, when in reality, it's 62 million visits to that website.
Yeah.
And when you have 1,000 horny-ass dudes who are dedicated in trying to figure out how to commit a crime, yeah, that's going to be something that gains traction over time, and they're going to...
So basically, it's like a website. There's a category underneath, the rape thing, whatever it is, and 62 million men visited that. Does it make them want to go do that evil thing? No. It's called a fetish.
Count those
What?
up specifically.
Did you not...
in 1
You
month,
mean
and they did
me
that,
liking
and it's embarrassing that it
thighs
happened on Black History Month
is
But
a crime?
I looked at this article and went through it. I was disturbed
can't
at what
breathe
I was
today.
reading. The world was confronted by this form of internet-enabled abuse in 2024 during a mass trial of Dominique Pellicot and
Mass
50 other men in southern France. It was
out.
on a so-called dating website in a chat room called Without Her Knowledge that Pellicot was able to connect with dozens of other men to instigate the of his then wife Giselle. While drugged unconscious by him, she was over 200 times by 70 men, not all of whom could be tracked down by police. The Pellicot case briefly shone a spotlight on this dark corner of the internet, but while Coco, the website involved, was shut down and public attention moved elsewhere, this behavior did not disappear. A months-long CNN as Equals investigation has uncovered a hidden online world where the commodification and amplification of sexual violence against women is flourishing. One site, Motherless, is home to...
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah, Motherless. One site, motherless.com, is home to more than 20,000 videos of so-called sleep content uploaded by users with hundreds of thousands of views. As I said, some people have their own fetish. I mean, it's a weird yes, but saying 62 million people...
Is so-called sleep content being had to So is this just like mommy ASMR or something?
No. This is like sleep, sex.
Stepmom porn?
Something like that. Yeah, it's like, no. That's the name of the website, Motherless. It has a whole bunch of different kinds of porn on it. But, this is just one kind of content where they're asleep and they do it.
That just makes me ask this question. It's a question I had on my mind for 15 years.
What?
If you have sex with a prostitute while she's sleeping, is it rape or shoplifting? If it's shoplifting, can she tack on grand larceny if she's a high call girl?
Oh my god.
It's this kind of shit that keeps me out of good schools.
to more than 20,000 videos of so-called sleep content uploaded by users with hundreds of thousands of views. The website, which had around 60 million visits, not 62 million men,
Not 62 million men visits. That can mean men and
It was
women.
visited. It was visited 62 million times by one person.
God
2
damn
million
Gooters.
visits in February alone, and whose core
Gooter,
audience
singular.
is in the United States, describes itself as a moral free file host where anything legal is hosted forever. The legality of some material posted is in serious doubt. So-called sleep content is categorized using descriptive tags such as hashtag passed out and hashtag eye check.
I'm gonna
In
be that
these
guy.
videos-
If you stick your dick in a girl while she's sleeping, how the fuck does she not feel it?
I mean,
Unless she's drugged.
yeah, there's that. I mean, most of this content though that they say is like this content is fake. Obviously, it's for the it's
It
for
has
the
to be.
view. Yeah,
I
as you said,
It's for the
'cause
fetishists.
it's hosting legal content. If this was real, it'd be removed
If
from
this was
reported
real, it
reports.
would be literally just be classified as rape.
Yeah.
Wonder if you're
want
gonna censor out all
y'all
those
to
words.
understand that what I'm about to read is some depraved ass shit. In these videos,
Are you gonna block it out?
men film themselves
Oh.
lifting the closed eyelids of women to show that they're sleeping or sedated, with some eye check videos surpassing 50,000 views. Inside the motherless sleep community, first reported on by German investigative journalists Isabel Beer and Isabel Stroth, members trade advice on how to drug their partners. On the ZZZ chat group, which a motherless user had linked to and where we first met Pierre, they do the same. CNN is not providing the names and doses of the specific medicines the users say that they employ. One motherless user claimed to be running a business selling and dispatching sleeping liquids to any address in the world. The man, who said that he was based in Ceuta, a tiny Spanish exclave on the North African coast, said on his Telegram account that it would cost 150 euros, approximately $175, for a bottle of the liquid that he said was tasteless and odorless. Your wife won't feel anything and won't remember anything. All of this and the concept of people buying in on it, I would consider a crime. And I would want every single
that's fair.
person who's in these servers, in these chat rooms, in jail. And it should be just that easy. But because I live in a world where people want to sensationalize next to anything, you have people seemingly mad that people are correcting what dumbasses on Twitter and TikTok are saying by
62 million men. No, 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 no. You're wrong. You're wrong. It's close to 1,000 weirdos, and 62 million people just visit the website. Does that make all 62 million want to go do it? No.
That just means people are curious.
letting people know it's not
Motherless.com. What the
62
fuck is
million
that?
men. It's just 1,000 in a fucking group chat, adding up to 62 million visits to a website.
It basically has a bunch of the more obscure fetish content on it.
CNN story about the online academy has somehow devolved into a conversation about 62 million men versus 62 million clicks, and that is exactly what it means to be a survivor in culture, and that is exactly why it is so triggering for so many people, specifically women. And as a black woman living in the same United
As a black woman, does it matter if you're
Put
black or
emphasis
white?
on that.
Huh?
I just said, why'd you put emphasis on that?
Like, it's just like as a black woman, I'm like, it doesn't matter if you're black or white. I mean, that doesn't matter. If you're assaulted as a woman, it's still bad.
States that
As a
y'all are
black
living
man-
in. I know it's crazy to be like,
As a black man who plays video games and Final Fantasy 16 has no black man in it, I'm gonna play this game and love it. Just like they did with Game of Thrones.
oh, but the facts don't matter, because they do. And I appreciate that y'all are so bent on making sure the facts are correct. Thank you. But as a survivor, do you know how exhausting it is to have every mistake, every
Survivor of what?
misspeak, every misstep that you make somehow matter
I'm assuming SA.
more than the violence done against you? Of course not, because if you did, you wouldn't focus on 62 million men versus 62 million views, as if that's not millions of men participating in an online website designed to focus on the exploitation and brutality against women that gives way to an online academy that gives way to group chats
Also, why does her face look so orange?
where men talk about how and brutalize the women in their lives
She's
and
a
how
Trump
they can do
supporter!
better. You would focus on the issue at hand, the violence at hand, more than you
More than
split
likely all
hairs
the
against is it
grease
62
on it and the
million men
lighting.
or 30 million men or 10 million men or more or less. And again, I know that the facts matter. I know that accurate reporting matters. I get it. Thank you. But I know a lot of y'all care more about being right than you care about the problem because you made posts correcting women about the story before you made posts about the story.
Well, if you don't have the right facts, then what's the point? I mean, like, oh, you made posts about correcting the story. Yeah, because, you have to have the right facts. You just don't go around saying, oh, 62 million men did this, when it wasn't 62 million men.
You made posts talking about how women should be angry but be correct before you talked about the violence happening to them. And I know this has triggered me as a victim, and I know that I'm projecting here because I can see myself back in the police station where I was once and should have been more, being reminded as to why I didn't report more. I know that. But I know that's also the reality for 1 in 6 women in the United States as a conservative estimate, as 1 in 6 women in the United States have been assaulted in some capacity in their lives. 1 in 6. And I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, but I was just trying to look out for survivors, or worse, well, women just can't take accountability for anything. Okay, that's your right. But it is
I mean, sometimes women really can't take accountability. They'll fucking argue to the ends of the earth over something so stupid.
my right as a survivor to know that a lot of what y'all are doing is the same thing you have done in this case and in a dozen cases before and in decades of cases before that. As in, you focus on this one little niche component, distract and derail from the conversation, and then they get away with it over and over and over. Because if you cared, then the focus would be on the fact that the site is still up. That there were
Well, because most of the stuff on the site is, guess what? Legal. I mean, it's not all just bad content. I mean, some of it's just normal stuff. So, like, oh, the site's still up because it has the 1% bad minority. Generalization of shit again. You guys really hurt my brain. I don't like.
You mean you're Brian?
I don't like this 1% of content, so you gotta take the whole website down because I don't like it. Well, sorry about you and your feelings.
Oh, our bad. Let's knock down the entire project because of this one person.
62 million views
I
in
don't know.
February and maybe about 80 million in March. And who knows what the April numbers are because it's ongoing. That's where your focus would be, and your anger, and your shame, and your correction, and your videos. That's how it would come out. Not in 62 million men versus 62 million views. Let's be correct here. As if there's somehow a threshold that you have to cross before it matters. And if you get it wrong, then you haven't crossed it. So we can't care. That's what it feels like as a victim. And again, I get that the facts matter, but y'all need to know what it feels like to be a victim for a second. And the fact that so many of you don't is a privilege that I think you all overlook a lot.
I know we're all mad. I know we're all
Oh,
angry,
God,
but
this guy just sounds like a bitch. I know we're all mad. I know we're all angry.
let's take a breath and get the facts straight. It was not 62 million men. It was 62 million hits on a website in a month, not unique users. There are only 168 million men in the United States, and the article says that the core viewership was in the US, and that would be over a third of the men in the country. That's just not the case. Now, do I believe that over a third of the men in our country are
Sounds like a bitch, but
misogynists
it's
or
right.
would assault someone in the right circumstance? Yes, but
Sorry, I thought you guys was gonna come in here and start doing some stupid shit, but no, he's right. He's right.
not that many men are going to a website to learn how to drug and lives. I want to make it clear that
Most men are going to a website to just watch the content and see what it's about, or blow their load and hit the road. You know?
Most men go to porn websites because women won't give them what they want. And I'm not saying that as a derogatory thing. Men have this desire for sex. That's how we are. And we want to have sex because we love the woman we're with.
Mm-hmm.
Not all men are like that, but a good few are.
Looks over
By the way, hi
Twitter.
ladies, I'm single.
Looks over Twitter.
Yeah.
Looks at that one situation with what's the chuckle fuck's name? I can't remember what his name was already. But
What
yeah,
chuckle fuck?
the one who like cheated on his girlfriend with like 3 VTubers or whatever.
Sequino.
Yeah, him. That's a whole nother can of worms though for a different time.
That I am not saying this to downplay the experience of survivors or how absolutely horrific this website is,
I
but
was gonna say none of this is about the downplay, like how bad like some of the content on the website is, or like anybody surviving, this kind of stuff. But like, if it's legal, it's legal. There's like people got paid to make that video. Like, I don't know what else to tell you.
we do need to be factual when we report on
Duck
it. Also, I've
Quest?
seen a lot of people reposting this. This person did not cite their sources, and some of them are correct, and some of them.
If you wonder if 62 million hits on a website is a lot for a month, here are a few sites you'll recognize for comparison: Sony, Care.com, Supercuts, Grammarly, Gmail, Banks of America, Cash App, Domino's, Act Blue, and Mayo Clinic.
Mayo Clinic.
Here's
Here's the thing. You're comparing all of these sites that people frequently visit for their health and for food and for news and emails to a site for porn. These 23 million hits are probably individual for Sony. Same for Care, Supercuts, Grammarly, everything else. 62 million hits on a website that romanticizes rape fantasies. There's a good chance not a lot of them are genuine.
And you got to remember though, it's not just that kind of fantasy too. There's over hundreds of different types of fetishes and stuff on the website. So, not all that 62 million is just going towards that content. You know, that's going towards the whole site as a whole content. So, like, you can't just say 62 million men are going for this so and so when it's like 62 million people visit that site for different things. It's just not true.
The other thing is, if that's just like a fetish site, hey ladies, I'm just gonna say this: men are as freaky as you allow them to be. We will only go as far as you let us.
Yeah.
Are
Okay, we got
completely
a whole nother
wrong.
video for this
Gmail
freaky
has
boy.
almost 300 million monthly hits. When something as absolutely shocking and utterly horrific as this comes out, our nervous system shuts down and we go into repost mode. We are completely ruled by our
Our nervous system shuts down, go into repost mode.
emotions, and we stop critically thinking about the information we're consuming. This only happened last night, and I've already seen so many creators jump on the bandwagon and falsely claim that 62 million men are doing this per month. We do not need to commodify this
If 62 million men are doing this per month, we have a really major issue. But that's the thing, it's not 62 million men. It's just 62 million people visiting a website that has a bunch of generalized things. Don't you love when you don't have the
Oh,
full facts? Like, could you imagine telling someone, hey, 62 million men did this? And they don't do it, and that person you told it to tells it to another person, and you don't do any of the research, and then you spread it around, and
what do you mean social media does that?
situation. It is horrible enough standing on its own. I do not blame you for feeling scared and angry and clicking repost. I've seen over 10 of my creator friends cite and source this 62 million men statistic, and I will never know if it was a simple oversight or if they were sensationalizing the truth for
They wanted quick views. They didn't even put time in to do the research.
reviews. Regardless of the situation, it's our responsibility to report on these stories with integrity, and the larger of a platform you have, the more careful you need to be about that. The survivors deserve that. Exaggerating the truth only takes away your credibility and completely shuts the door to anyone from the other side understanding the true horror of this situation, because they will immediately write you off. The facts are bad enough by themselves, and the more we sensationalize, the more we are hurting survivors by taking away the perceived validity of their experiences. Please be honest. Take a second to think before you post, and if you have a platform, please do better. Love you.
There's nothing wrong with saying that, but for some reason it's this big atrocity letting people know a fact because they're so fixated on a fiction. And then when you tell them that fact, these motherfuckers get snooty about it. They say, oh, well, sorry, we somehow offended you by saying 62 million men. It's not about no.
It's not about the 62 million men. It's the fact that you're trying to push 62 million men did this when it's not true. It's common sense. Like, no, 62 million men did not do this. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to say, you know. No, you're trying to repost false information. There's a difference.
Nobody being offended. It's about a fact. And the fact is, there are men out there doing this shit. It's not 62 million. It's still a problem that it's any number of men. But when we sit there and blow it to millions, we have a problem. And because of that, people are not going to take it as seriously when they dedicate time to looking into it and seeing that that number is not even overblown, it's lied about. And then you're going to have motherfuckers arguing with each other about how you just lied on men, or you don't care about women, or you don't care about what happens to women. You don't care about the subject matter in regards to it. And we completely missed the point that somebody who is apparently in West Africa is sharing clips from a previous live.
Wait. Another user who said he was in West Africa shared a clip from a previous live stream he'd done to entice us to his next. In it, a woman who he said was his sleeping wife could be heard snoring as he climbs on top of her. Then the clip ends.
Live stream he said he'd done to entice us to his next. In it, a woman who he said he was his sleeping wife could be heard snoring as he climbs on top of her. Then the clip ends. This is a problem. Like, this entire article tells you depraved shit in it. It even has women telling their stories about it. And I think we as a species should all agree it's a problem.
Yeah.
But because we got one person who blew this out of proportion, it's devolved into motherfuckers trying to play checks and balances with facts versus fiction. It is not a problem stating that somebody lied in saying that it was 62 million men. It's not 62 million men. The actual number is in the thousands.
Thousands
And it's
still
still
a lot,
a problem.
still.
It's not an issue. It's not a
62
great
million.
atrocity to say that there are thousands of men in a group chat sharing, advocating, giving advice, and promoting and cheering on. That's not a problem. That's not an issue to talk about that and call it weird. It should be something where we line up all these motherfuckers and get them ready for the rack. And then send
Line them all up and get them ready for the rack.
them to jail and then await for their arrival in hell. But because one lie carried so much weight, it's now devolved into pointless back and forth for people instead of actually focusing on the real issue. This shit got 2 million views on Twitter. And guess what? The correction only has 11,000 views. So this was tweeted out on April 15th. This story came about in March, but this allowed it to gain a lot of traction. So now you have potentially hundreds of thousands of people believing 62 million men are doing this shit, and only 11,000 only being aware that it's just visits. And mind you, this person who spearheaded this has not made some great grandiose tweet saying, hey, this is a
why would
correction.
they?
They've just done this. This is all that they've done.
Put a simple correction in the fucking comment section. As I said, but why would they? They're getting all the views from it.
And it's led to people running around saying still to this day, 2 days after the fact, even though it's readily available for anybody to see that and realize it's not 62 million men, it's just led them to keep that shit going and then be argumentative when people who genuinely care point out, hey, one thing about this you got to change. And that's my overall issue with dotting your I's and crossing your T's. It's that when you don't do that, you run the risk of blowing something out of proportion and getting people to talk about something else instead of the main subject matter. Because, as I said only a few minutes ago, all of this is very much important and it's concerning. It's weird. I would make the brave hot take that it's a crime. And when they got a paper trail like this, you would want a lot of these people. I would make the, again, controversial hot take in saying everyone who's in this ZZZ group chat arrested. I want them arrested.
I was gonna say, it's the difference between watching it on a website and being in a fucking group chat for it.
Everyone who's in the Zenless Zone Zero group chat, why? What did they do?
Seriously though, like if you're in a group chat for this stuff, that's a whole real difference between being just like looking it up on like the website or whatever. There's a whole world of difference. One shows motive, one just shows you're browsing around.
I want them far away from any woman. But for some reason, that has to be the second conversation while people fixate on the 62 million men versus 62 million visits to a website, all stemming from a fucking tweet. And a bunch of people on TikTok who want to sensationalize this shit. May we get back to the core subject matter, please? Because without that, I fear as though this is just gonna be a topic for people, and then they're gonna move on to the next thing. Hey, we talking about it now, but nothing's really gonna come about it, and then we're just gonna move on. It is a failure in actually giving out correct information when you do shit like this. It is a failure to actually pay attention to a real story that has real victims when you sensationalize it to a point that gets people concerned that in America, a wide population of men are doing something like this, which statistically wouldn't even add up because ain't no fucking way they got 62 million men in this country that are all married. Bullshit. They wouldn't be listening to these fucking incel podcasts if that was the case. So on that front, you lose it. But more importantly, you take away from the actual story when you want to sit there and try to be the advocate hero promoting a lie when you can instead promote the truth and stop bitching that you're being corrected. Because in the grand scheme, that's what all this is about. Making sure that the right information is out.
You know how many times misinformation got someone killed? More than once. And it's pretty bad, but like...
Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
Misinformation led to a shooting. And he's not the only example.
Yeah, so many times in history that misinformation has gotten someone killed, and did they need to be killed? No. But because people strewed the facts and made it seem worse than it was, or made it sound worse than it was, and it ended up with someone dying. This is why you need to fucking get the source of the information before you fucking make any claims.
There, making sure that the right information is being broadcast, because the wrong information, like for example in the past, people faking hate crimes or stories about being assaulted,
yeah, there's a lot of those too, faking getting assaulted and stuff, and then make it like, oh, I'm a black creator and I was assaulted by these white people when they really weren't. But then it begs the question, oh, so you made up this whole story just to play the victim.
Wrong information will cause people to not want to engage in the conversation at all. And in a conversation where you got people promoting the idea of violating their partners, I think it's a substantial conversation to have. I think it's an important conversation to have that will be muddied because somebody wanted to say 62 million men. So congratulations, you played yourself again.
Could be the part two of this. Not believing 62 million men wanted to rape women means you hate women. Hey, can you believe not believing 62 million, you know, that makes you want to really hate women?
I can't not believe it.
Do you hate women?
Yeah, clearly.
That if your knee-jerk reaction is to get stuck into the semantics of whether or not this many men visited a website like this, as opposed to being sort of deeply hurt that a website like this can drive that sort of traffic a month to these specific topics, I need you to know that if you were to make that argument within my earshot or wingspan, I would hit you in the neck. So,
He says while eating spaghetti into a
Three things
microphone.
about what you just watched. Number one, it's cute that he decided to prop his phone up and show everybody him eating a bowl of spaghetti while he dances around the subject matter of up to 1,000 men in a group chat selling or buying something that could lead to women being assaulted, because it's better for him and various other dumbasses to perform on social media than actually have a
I
conversation.
say, oh, God forbid, I say 62 million people, 62, it wasn't 62 million men visiting a website, it was 62 million people visiting a random website for porn. And then he goes to attack me, just fucking cold clocks him in the head and like knocks him out. Oh, anyways, sorry about that.
About how depraved that is. Number two, I find it cute that he decided in the midst of all the conversation, he has an axe to grind with people who want the correct information out there. And
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm gonna throat chop you if you try and like talk about that around me. Oh, you are you, buddy? I could probably
He
fold
has an
you
axe
like
to grind.
He has an axe
He has
to
an axe.
grind.
Man, I kind of want to listen to Pantera now.
instead of the lie that's been promoted by several people still to this day as I'm recording this on Monday morning. And just to let everyone know, if I were in the same room as this person and this white man accosted me for correctly stating a fact, which is cited by an article that I'm certain his dumbass didn't read, I would love nothing more than to press charges, get him put in prison, and have Al Sharpton call him a racist while we signify what it means to be black in America, because
You would fucking just get hit just because you're black and calling racist. God damn it, Leon. That'd be fucking funny though. This white man hitting a black man in 2026? He must be a racist.
Clearly.
his dumbass would fuck around and he would have to find out legally. And number three, which is the
There we go.
Three.
Broke.
which is the most important thing. I told y'all, when you spread a lie and it gains traction and you get everybody's eyes on it, and then people find out it's a lie, you lose them. You lose any strength you have in the conversation. You lose all the impact you could have had. And let me make myself perfectly clear again, because this is the second time I'm gonna have to say it in the span of 2 videos. 62 million men doing it would be crazy. 50 million.
Any kind of million of men would be crazy doing it. But it's not. It's just people visiting a website for the fifth fucking time.
1 million, 100,000, 50,000, 1,000 is still crazy. 50 or 1. It don't matter the number. You give anyone, any number of people in a group chat learning how, advocating for, or selling or buying a product that could lead to a woman being assaulted, they're going to say that's fucking weird, unless there's somebody who's in that group chat and they want to say there's nothing going on here and there's nothing wrong with it, and a lot of people are just making much about nothing, and those people need to be in jail. I want that entire group chat investigated. I want any.
I say, if you're in a group chat for stuff like this, jail time, investigation, and you lose your internet rights. Oh, but can people have their own opinion? No, not when it comes to stuff like this. No, this is where it toes the line of like criminal activity, in my opinion. Well, fuck, it is criminal activity.
Anybody who's buying the products nuts cut off. I want anyone who sold the product. I want their tips skinned. I don't
I want their tips skinned.
want these people around women because they're a danger to women. And you know what pisses me off is that when I say that, some dumbass will miss the complete point because they want to fixate on how they've been corrected.
Ow.
Because they spread a lie that 62 million men did something in the month of February. Once again, horrible advertisement for Black History Month. And it's
Horrible advertisement. Oh my god. Oh, it is fast. Oh dear god. Horrible advertisement for Black History Month.
still going on, where people will argue with you if you
Don't
tell
make
them
that
it's not 62, it's 1,000. Mind you, I haven't seen it at all. I'm not saying it doesn't exist because I'm certain there's a dumbass out there who desperately wants to go viral. I haven't seen one person say, hey, it's not 62 million, it's 1,000. You women deserve it. Not one person
Try
I've
this.
seen say that. There probably is somebody out there
that's-
who's
that's,
bold enough to try.
Oh boy.
No one's ever gonna say, women, you deserve it, because there's normal people out there,
Because most people aren't fucking heartless.
Yeah.
I am now using a rotated display. Good fucking god. This is so surreal.
Yeah.
To gain traction on social media doing that, but I haven't seen it yet. I've seen people want to give out correct information and they're being chastised and viewed as people who are a danger to women.
Are not in an RAPE academy. What you did was equivalent to asking a woman who was assaulted what she was wearing. Spent your entire video defending men against an accurate number of rapists. It's women who need defending.
Rapists? Come on.
Confuse hits with perpetrators. You just had to attack.
And this is my problem with y'all, because no, that number matters. Because a third of American population being rapists is different than 10 million. There's a big difference if there's 60 million murderers than a million murderers. It's completely different. And no one's justifying or rationalizing the amount of men. No, if it was one, it's a problem. But 62 million compared to a million, maybe 500,000, maybe even 10,000, is completely different. And you know that. Because there's no situation.
I was gonna say 62 million compared to like only what the original numbers is 1,000. That's a big difference. Like, people don't get that, and it's like crazy.
There's literally no situation where 1/3 of a population is going to be treated as the same as like 1/20th. It's just a different it's a different scenario, because the rate at which something happens matters. It's like a white person coming on here and being like, well, why are we only focusing on black people getting killed by the cops? White people get killed too. It's the rate at which it happens.
I'm gonna say black people are statistically more inclined to get killed by the cops than a white person is. I will admit that. That is statistically true. Why?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say why, but it's true.
Just say racism. We all
The
know what it
rate
is.
at which it happens changes the urgency of the topic. But we all know that. We all know that, and that's never been a problem before until today. Until today, the common sense of like, well, how often is this happening, or how many people is it, matters. It just stopped mattering today. And you guys are being super disingenuous, because every single person I've heard talk about the actual number, they're not saying like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. They all preface saying this is still a big problem, this is still a big deal, but it is being sensationalized a little bit. But y'all don't want to hear that. Y'all want to get y'all points off and get y'all likes up. Because y'all don't actually care about the woman you're talking about. You just care about these motherfucking likes and these people in your comments sucking you off.
Just so that we have all our ducks in the row. Someone wanting correct information out there about something depraved going on is not a danger to women. They want correct information.
Just because somebody wants to have the correct information isn't a danger to women. I mean, because you want to have all the facts in place to be truthful on each side. Like, just because it's just because it wasn't 62 million men, they still visited the website, they still seen it. But here's the thing: the website is not just that content; it's multiple kinds of content. So that 62 million is split up between hundreds, if not thousands, of different categories.
Out there so that a bunch of people aren't throwing themselves in front of each other trying to sound like dumbasses, negating the actual conversation. And if we're going to go on a ranking system, the is number one in terms of a danger to women. The person who wants to promote the lie about what's going on so that they could get traction on social media and pretend to be a hero, I'm gonna say they're about number 5, number 6-ish, because spreading a lie hurts actual victims. Pretending as if you want to correct somebody because you have an axe to grind somewhere else because you don't want to actually have a conversation unless it's bombastically stupid to proportions that no one could match is not you being a hero. It's it's you wanting attention in the dumbest way possible. We understand that there needs to be actual conversation in this subject matter. I don't want this to be something everybody just puts down at the end of the week. I want it to be something where more
Gonna say, yeah, subject matter is don't be abusive to women. Like, that's common sense. Y'all would hope you wouldn't do that. But at the end of the day, we're a society at the end of the day, so, you know.
We live in a society.
go into this, because I need to say it again, buying or selling something that leads to women being assaulted, yeah, that's something that needs to be investigated, with the people who are buying and selling and purchasing and distributing all need to be in jail. This is not something to where we could just toss it to the side and say, good luck, ladies. No, this needs to be something that leads to individuals being arrested. Cut the print, nothing more.
Amanda Stanhope didn't know her partner had been abusing her for 5 years.
What were some of the physical signs?
I'd wake up on a towel that wasn't there when I went to bed, and sometimes I'd go to bed with, I'd remember wearing shorts and a t-shirt, and they wouldn't be there when I woke up the next morning. I often found lots of bruises on my body that hadn't been there previously.
Her former partner was charged with multiple counts of...
The police had to look through all these.
And what did they make of them?
The one where I was absolutely horrified, and he'd performed a face whilst I was unconscious, and it was completely clear. And the police looked at this one, and I thought, there's the evidence. And the police said to me, well, we can't use that. That isn't clear evidence because it looks like you're pretending to be asleep.
In England, where survivors Amanda and Zoe live, nearly a quarter of victims are assaulted.
Yeah, in England, yeah, a quarter. Just think how long this video was. It was a long ago before they invited all the immigrants in. Now it's every little girl who's being assaulted by an immigrant. And what's happening to those immigrants? Nothing.
Nothing.
Oh, hey, that immigrant over there is touching a little girl. Oh, let him go.
Yeah, so?
But she tried to defend herself. Jail time.
She tried to defend herself. She whipped out 2 sharp knives and was trying to defend herself. She what? This can't stand.
She whipped out what kind of illegal weapon?
While unconscious or asleep, and that number has risen over the last decade. Amanda's ex...
They'll probably still get away with it too because, you know, London has fallen. London has fallen.
They'll keep getting away with it too because of those meddling kids.
Took his own life before the case could go to court.
What?
She's still piecing her life back together, and the shock of learning about group chats where this kind of abuse continues hasn't faded.
Instantly, my whole body goes and my hands start shaking. I don't even have a word for it. That it's being glorified, and men are teaching others how to do this. And they're doing this to the people they say they love. It's beyond evil.
But what's going to fuck that up in terms of the traction it could get online are dumb fucks trying to distract people because they want to really let it home that 62 million men are all doing this when that is not happening.
Listen, I'm going to stop right here in the middle of it. If 62 million men were doing this, don't you think this would be way bigger news? Like, don't you think this would be like an epidemic of like that needs to be stopped if 62 million men were doing this?
Yeah.
Like, Jesus, man.
And when you correct that, you should not be told to fuck off or you don't care about women or for some other stupid ass reason people want to bring up because they got nothing to do. It should be about the truth of the matter, because when you spread a lie, as I said, once people find out about the lie, you lose them. You get more people to antagonize the actual people who need the help. Fake hate crimes, fake racial hate crimes, fake kidnappings, fake disappearances, fake any type of tension insert here. It somehow gains more attention than the actual real stories that exist in your local media, because some bumbling dumb fuck somewhere decided they needed attention. They want to have all eyes on them. But when the truth comes out, magically, no, I don't want any of the attention on me. Stop talking to me. Stop bringing that up. I don't want to bring it up anymore.
I'm sorry I gave you false information. Now why are you guys yelling at me? What did I do wrong? Oh, you just falsified the story and got a man locked up in prison that he's not supposed to be there. You know, normal stuff.
Leave me alone. And then all the people who are all entrenched in this topic go away. And as they walk out the door, you dumbasses are like, wait. There's still real people out there. And while you might get some individuals to stay, majority are going to leave because now they're going to be butthurt because you told them that 62 million men out there are the disease, men out there are the problem. You ostracized them. And even...
Are you one of the 62 million men? Do you want
asking me?
Yeah, you are you one of the 62 million men? Do you want to go to a website and then go to a group chat and do some evil things? Jesus Christ.
Maybe.
Oh no, you're being indoctrinated.
When they try
Baby
to
and Blink.
correct you,
Hold on, I gotta
you
go capture
threw
this
the
little
blame
bitch.
at their feet, as if it's their fault for correcting you for believing a
There, I just
dumbass
kidnapped a
on
baby
social
and Blink.
media who didn't read the fucking article.
This for all
I
the
got
men
2,500
mostly who are
experience.
currently focusing their energies on fact-checking the claims about 62 million men and saying actually it was 62 million visits, because that's the exact same type of pedantic I also am.
I'm sorry, whoa. 62 million men and 62 million visits are the same type of thing. That's a bit of a stretch, Chief. That 62 million visits could be women too. You know, women might do the same thing. You can't put it above women not to do the same thing men would do.
Women are just as curious as men are.
Mm-hmm.
And they're right. You're right. In fact, it's a very good point. It's probably fewer than 62 million individuals, right? Right. So, is it a lot fewer? How many fewer? Like, on average...
I am going to stop that video right there because it does not get any less pedantic, okay? It is very interesting to me that the crowd of people who always preach about media literacy, who are always policing everybody's speech, policing everybody's language, are all of a sudden now trying to convince us that language doesn't matter. The words they use don't matter. The numbers they give out, the stats they give out, all of a sudden that doesn't matter. It's the spirit of the argument that matters. Really. Unfortunately for y'all, words do matter and numbers do matter. If one person is killed on the streets, we call that a homicide. If 10,000 people are killed, we call that a genocide. Why? Because obviously one person dying is an atrocity.
Gonna say genocide. It looks over.
Genocide means you're killing off an entire race.
Looks over.
Mass murder is just a bunch of people.
Looks over at 6 million innocent people in 1943. Genocide, yeah, about that.
But when you,
I heard 10,000, I was like, please don't say genocide. That's a genocide. No, it's not.
No.
That's just mass murder.
Gonna say that's just mass murder. That's what fucking dictators do in a daily. Genocide. Looks over at the Soviet Union. Hey, Stalin. That's genocide.
10,000 times.
Oh, even better. Looks over Mao in China. Hey, Mao killed over 80 million Muslim people. Yeah,
it's 10,000 times worse if that's possible. One woman being sexually assaulted or raped is obviously an atrocity, a horrific thing that should never happen. But when you say 62 million men in America, a third of the male population, also want to do that to women, that is a completely different thing. You're insinuating a completely different thing. And you saying men are worried about the wrong... No, we're worried about the right thing. The reason why we're so upset with you guys pushing this narrative, this false narrative, is because we understand how bad those allegations are. We view that as an atrocity. We view that as disgusting. We view that as disturbing. And for you guys to accuse a third to half of us of that, that is why we are so angry, because we're with you that it's bad, but you're trying to insinuate that all of us are doing it because you hate men. And now you're trying to gaslight all of us because you realize how illiterate you were. You didn't even read the article. You're just pushing a narrative, and now you're trying to backpedal and be like, well, this okay, how many is too many narrative. The answer is zero. Zero is over zero is too many. That's my answer. But we're not going to pretend as if 62.
I'm gonna say nobody should be a victim of stuff like this, but when you start pushing an air that 62 million men are doing it, and you don't back up your claims, and then you get caught on the lie, and then you're like, oh, but still they visited the website, but that's not all men, and the website again has different content on it than just this content. It starts to sound like you're fucking stupid and just following a trend for views. This is why you need to do your facts. This is why when something bad comes out, you wait for a few days, do your facts and research, and then release a fucking video on it. So you don't sound fucking stupid. Looks over at multiple, like, different controversies. Like, hey, doesn't this sound like that Tucker Conroy controversy, you know? Where everybody took what's bitch's face's word for it at first, until they poked holes in her story.
So everything falls apart under scrutiny.
Yeah.
2 million men were doing this, and you guys trying to gaslight all of us for us saying, hey, pump the brakes, stop it. And furthermore, this is not about women, because you don't care about women. Here's how I know you don't care about women.
Why do I not care about
Why do you guys want there to be 62 million men who sexually assault women? Because that would mean that there are 62 million victims that are women of sexual assault. Why would you want that in the first place? That's my question for you. I'm going to give a question. Why do you want there to be 62 million victims?
Because it's fun to make men look like the bad guy nowadays. You're a man and you're white. Oh, well, I guess you're just a fucking criminal.
Oh, this black man, this black child stabbed this other white child because he just told him to get out of his tent? Nah, he's fine. He was bullied. That white kid deserved it.
In fact, that white kid must have been instigating it, you know?
There's a reason that we're attaching the word fatigue to everything. Because we're getting fucking tired of it.
There's a fatigue for a lot of stuff, yeah.
Why do you want there to be 62 million men who are predators? Why do you want that to be the case? Because it's not the case. You're pushing the narrative that it is, though, which means that you want it to be the case so that you can have some sort of crusade to go on. So my question is, why do you want that?
Which is another thing that pisses me off about this. This article from CNN, it did not come out in the month of April. It came out in March. And nobody knew about it until a lie. And somebody might sit there and say, well, that's a good thing because this lie got all this attention on it. That lie led to a bunch of stupid ass discourse, virtue signaling, and people desperate to try to erase any true information that came out of that article. It's done a disservice to the actual problem.
My sincerest apologies. I said that 62 million men visited that motherless.com website in February alone that had more than 20,000 videos of sleep content,
Hey, a choker
aka
necklace.
men drugging
We all
their
know you
wives
love to take it down
them,
the throat.
which amounted to hundreds of thousands of views, when it was actually 62 million visits to the website. Visits, not men. I'm so sorry. That confusion of views versus men was so...
She's so sorry when she sounds so snaky like this. Like, you know, she realizes she was wrong. Everybody keeps calling her out on it, but she just wants to be smart about it. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I mean, 62 million visits.
Sorry.
So concerning and so upsetting for you all that it made you either lose focus, not care, or completely discredit the entire report. Of the website, of the sleep content, of the hundreds of thousands of views that it garnered, the group chats that were shared on that website where men could come together and teach each other how to drug and rape their wives. Who knew that it only took one mistaken word for y'all to discredit the actual report and not care about the victim?
No one's discrediting anything, you dumb bitch. It's just the fact that y'all want to push this far. Like, oh, 62 million men did this. No, no, no. 62 million men, 62 million people visited that website. And
62 million people.
People, like men, women.
62 million people visited the website.
Yeah, and the website has multiple things, not just content. It has hundreds of categories of content. So, that's 62 million people split up between hundreds, if not thousands of different categories. Like, there's not much else to it. Like, you're trying to say, oh, but they almost came for this certain thing. No, you're just fucking stupid.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot. The victims for you were for the men, because how dare I accuse 62 million men of viewing that website, because that's just so hard to believe. So let me...
Oh, dear.
It is hard to believe.
I mean, yeah, not like women are curious too, as you said earlier.
Oh, fuck.
God forbid a woman go to a website like this, Isn't that hard to believe? A woman looking up a website like this? Isn't that really fucking hard to believe? No, it's not.
Actually bring up something that is true, that is backed by evidence, that you guys can believe. According to Pew Research, 55% of men voted for Donald Trump in 2024.
Oh. Okay.
So let me actually bring up something that is true, that is backed by evidence, that you guys can believe. According to Pew Research, 55% of men voted for Donald Trump.
Where the fuck did Donald Trump come into this conversation at? Wait, what?
Okay.
In 2024.
Do you see what I'm talking about? That right there is how these conversations go nowhere, because instead of just acknowledging one simple wrong thing and us getting back on topic, we now have to worry about 62 million men being wrong to now 55% of men voted for Trump, because acknowledging how wrong a statement is impossible for some of these people. They just gotta move this
I was gonna say, we were on topic for a second. Yeah, 52 million men. And then we went off course and we said 55% of men voted for Donald Trump, and we crash coursed.
Okay. 55% of men voted for Trump in 2024. That's just like 46% of women. Okay, and what's your point?
Opposed to a dumber direction, which further takes us away from the original point.
A man who was found liable for abuse in civil court was recorded bragging about grabbing women by their... Said he would marry his daughter Ivanka if they weren't related, and who appears numerous times in the Epstein files, having assaulted and multiple women and children.
I'm absolutely stun-locked listening to this, because...
Pause. Give me a second. We'll be right back. I'm back. So we're at 65 million. Okay, cool.
Give me a minute.
Give me a minute. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not done. What vegetables did you want?
We only have about not long enough. Okay, cool. 4 minutes.
Nobody amongst all these conversations about this topic ever brought up Trump. So far, this is the only...
Listen, you tell DR, where the fuck do you get Trump in this formula from? This almost sounds like you're just projecting your politics into a conversation that doesn't need your politics projected into.
Dude, how do you remember this? We've been paused for 14 days.
Definitely.
Only person I've seen who's decided, hey, I'm going to try to make you all feel bad by bringing in an irrelevant person in the subject matter. All of what is said by this woman is bad. I don't condone it. I don't cheer it on. I'm not championing it. My problem is that instead of admitting that people are lying about a number, you instead are trying to guilt trip people into feeling bad about something else. Get back on topic!
And while we got the information about the Epstein files months after Trump was inaugurated into office, we knew all the other information beforehand. Approximately 154 million people voted in the 2024 elections. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, approximately 72.8
what does that
million
have
of
to
them
do with
were
this?
men. And if 55% of men voted for Trump, that brings us to approximately...
Oh, because they voted for Trump, that must mean they want to do something like this. I see where she's going with this.
Oh, stop.
I see where she's going with this, and I'm like, you are stupid as fuck.
40 million men who voted for the convicted rape. But sure, we can't possibly imagine 62 million men viewing videos. So again, I am truly, sincerely sorry for being...
So what you're trying to say is this because they voted for Trump must mean they like to do this kind of stuff. You are the dumbest fucking human being I've ever seen.
That's TDS in a nutshell.
A silly
voted for
hysterical
Trump, therefore
woman
you're all
and making
pedophiles.
one mistake. A silly hysterical woman who constantly has to read about women being raped and murdered by their male partners. I forget that we live in a society so
Sounds to me like you're
normalized
choosing to read
that
that.
when CNN dropped that story and folks, especially women and survivors, wanted to talk about it, y'all normalized the but couldn't look past the men versus views. Y'all are right. Accurate information is important. It is so important that we get the information correct because historically that has always been the case, and historically when people get the information correct, things always get done and people always get justice, right? When women report their assaults, they always get justice.
This coming from
right?
you.
Men always face the consequences, right? I mean, look at our president. I'm so glad that we all have our priorities together.
I'm gonna hold y'all by y'all lips when I
Says,
say
look
this.
at our president
There
after
are
saying we want
several
nothing but
examples
facts.
of people not being believed and justice not being given to actual victims who need help. That is something anybody with a brain has stated and acknowledged and has wanted better for victims and better out of a justice system that is faulty, corrupt, picks sides, and is lenient when it shouldn't be. That is something no one who is considerate to the subject matter would ignore. Your axe to grind for about 2 minutes was complaining that people want factual information, because while you sit there and try to equate people who vote for somebody to going on a website, you have distracted people from talking about the article by CNN because you have an axe to grind, because I'm certain you voted for Kamala, but instead of acknowledging that several other people who think like you did a bad job promoting Kamala, you instead want to fixate on something else. Sorry, you didn't get your outcome in the presidential election, but if I could just say it one more time, get back on topic! Not too many years ago, a woman by the name of Carly Russell was the topic of discussion because she had gone missing. And a lot of people on social media claimed that she was kidnapped. And a lot of people took that and said no one cares about what happens to women when they have to deal with going out in public and dealing with men and getting kidnapped. A lot of
No one cares about women when they go in public and deal with men. That just sounds like a personal issue.
Why doesn't anyone care about me? I'm out here in defense last. Sounds to me like you're advertising. Oh my god, I'm so defenseless. What? Somebody could come and rape me.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're trying to get raped.
This sounds consensual. Wait, what? No, definitely not.
people don't care about black women. All the topics were thrown out there. And then the dumbass bitch just randomly pops up at her family's house. They find out that she lied. They find out that she wasted everybody's time. They found out that she was a fucking thief. And they found out
I really hope
in
that
the
nobody
midst of
comes
all
and
of this
grabs
conversation,
Bullhorn.
she could have
Race me!
arrested and maybe in a confrontation with the police if they matched the weirdest description that she labeled on people. And ultimately, what happened? People dropped the subject matter, and as they tried to walk out the door, people said, hey, wait, There are actual victims who get kidnapped, and motherfuckers move them to the side because they don't care anymore. They've been lied to. They don't want to engage in this conversation anymore because they fear they're going to be lied to again. And that is what you don't want when you have real victims having to tell their stories. People not caring because dumbasses valued telling a lie on social media more than they valued the fucking truth. And this is a hard
Telling a
pill
lie
for a lot of people to
just
swallow.
completely
It's that they have
nullifies
to
all the
recognize
victims' complaints.
Especially when you lie about it to
By-
begin with, and then you try
by
to
lying-
defend said lie.
By going out of your way to lie and then defend said lie, you are completely devaluing all of the actual victims of the people you claim to defend. Therefore, who's really the bad guy here?
And then they'll like claim, "Oh, you're just so and so," and they'll say all these stupid fucking buzzwords and make it seem like you're the bad person in the situation. And yeah,
they're part of the problem when they spread
You know
that
what?
lie
You're
and
right.
then they get challenged by the
Bend over,
truth
bitch.
and they decide to dig
What?
their
What?
heels in their lie. You lose people who actually care, because when you antagonize them, when you make it their problem for not believing your lie, you lose them, and then eventually no one's there to hear your plight, no one's there to hear your story, and you're going to try to make it seem like that's everybody else's problem when it's your fault. So stop the goalpost shift, stop the virtue signaling, stop pretending like accurate information is a sin casted upon you from the depths of heaven and hell. You need to get a fucking grip. 1,000 men, or up to 1,000 men in a group chat participating, advocating, buying, or selling something that could lead to women being assaulted is dramatic enough to tell people for them to be concerned. You don't need to lie about 62 million men. You don't have to put the blame on CNN, because CNN ain't never, not one time in that article, said 62 million men. Your reading comprehension is piss, and I don't care how much you want to pretend to.
people's reading comprehension nowadays is fucking stupid. They see words on screen, and if words on screen they agree with, words on screen they don't. Words on screen they don't agree with, block it.
The only words I know are Trump and bad.
Care about women while you eat a bowl of spaghetti. You're pieces
By
of
the way,
shit
there is a
who
video
do a disservice.
called Gen Alpha Still Can't Read. It's about 23 some odd minutes long, about the average length on YouTube now.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Good
one.
fucking God, man.
Oh, did you actually watch it? Because I watched it the whole way through.
Oh, yeah, I'm like, good fucking God. What the hell is wrong with everyone?
Parents expecting schools to babysit and raise their kids now for them.
Is what's that?
Holding. Insert elevator music. Dun 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 dun. Yeah, well, he's fucking going for sure.
There's two women you pretend to care about for likes on social media. And to wrap this
Like
up,
20
because I
was,
feel like I've gone for too long, for the
Fizz was on
love
my bed.
of
He was
God,
hacking and coughing. I
can
didn't
you
want him to
motherfuckers,
vomit on my
the
bed.
next time you want to get stories to reach mainstream status, tell the truth and get more people to tell the truth, because I promise
you, the truth doesn't fucking hurt. I mean, sometimes it does, but it's better to tell
The truth does hurt. It always hurts.
Better that
But
than
I
get
would
someone
prefer
killed.
to know that I prefer to know the truth than to be lied to.
Yeah, say better know the truth than get someone fucking killed over it. Okay, that's everything for this one. Guess I'll see you in the next one. I mean, I don't know what the fuck to say about this one. I mean, all I can say really at the ending of it is, tell the fucking truth. Don't be a fucking idiot and try and lie your way and connive your way saying bullshit, because that's the good way to get someone killed. Not many people killed. The truth the truth has hurt people, but
See, it's not the outside that matters. It's the inside that counts. Have you seen the insides of people before? I have. I've seen the insides of many people. It gives me a hard on.
yeah. Okay, I'll see you guys in the next video.